I would like to thank Ashton Lewis for sending me this story, and it's coming out of Ohio. And what I'm about to talk about is basically what makes me so mad when I see a lot of black people saying that they don't mind when other people use a certain word in casual conversations, because then stuff what I'm about to talk about can often occur. This man's name is Doug Lice. He is a principal at King's High School in Kings Mill, uh, Ohio. And he has defended himself in his repeated uses of the N word and has yet to face any type of disciplinary actions because of it. I guess they bought into his excuses or his he uses the N word. And I don't know what his reasonings are, but hopefully, as I read through this article coming from the Atlanta Black Star, we find out what it is. It says an Ohio principal under fire for his repeated use of the N-word insists he used the slur in quote unquote in context during staff discussions on combating racism. He said in context. So in his mind, he believes that he used the word within a special reasoning and not as a racial slur. Doug Lice, the principal of King High School in Kings Mill, has faced zero disciplinary action from the district despite complaints from students and staff about his use of the offensive slur once during a staff meeting and multiple times while talking with a black student. Now, see, this goes right here. Multiple times with a black student, which means the black student condones him using the word and that black student isn't checking him. Now, remember, I did a video about a young girl from Wisconsin who complained that she was being called the N word by multiple students daily, and she got suspended for merely complaining. I did a video where I talked about a little boy down in Florida who was part of a farmer's program, and he was saying they were calling him racial slurs and everything like that, and they're not doing anything. See, here's the thing. They are trying their damn hardest to have that word be thrown out as being a racial slur so badly. And it doesn't help when black people do not check them on it. Because the more they go unchecked, the more emboldened they're going to be to use that word. And then, of course, tack that in with the climate that we're currently in right now is chaotic. At least one person objected each time the principal used the word. We're learning that even using it specifically, that there were still people offended by it, and we have to learn from that, said Superintendent Tim Ackerman. Lash reportedly first used the word in January during a meeting with staff regarding a recreational basketball game that included King students where players wore jerseys bearing racial slurs like coon or Negro, and it was spelled Kneegrow. Printed on the back. I think I remember that. Remember that. Life assured staff the incident didn't reflect the district's culture, then proceeded to use the N-word while describing racially intolerant behavior by students on social media. See, he couldn't just say N-word, which he would be safe in saying. So he had to say the entire word, and that's what he meant when he said use it in context, basically using it where he felt it could be used, where a black person would most likely just say the word all the way out, but where he as a white guy knows that he shouldn't, but he decided to anyway. A recording from the incident captured the principal using the slur, according to the newspaper. I am floored, one employee present at the meeting wrote in a complaint to Ackerman. How are parents with non-white students supposed to feel comfortable with their kids in Light's care? Months later, in September, the principal allegedly repeated the word to a black teen during a discussion about music for dance routine the student had planned for a homecoming pep rally. Does the song really say nigga? Lice said. According to the student claimed Lice used the slur 3 more times during the conversation to convey why it was inappropriate. He could have easily said the N word, like I just stated, or inappropriate language, and I would have gotten the point, the student told the Inquirer. Now, let me compare that to something. When he said this, that he could have said the N word or inappropriate language and he would have got the point, that goes back to that whole thing with the whole blackface thing. When white people throw that blackface on to try to mimic a black person, they don't have to do all of that. They could dress up like the character, and people should be able to guess who they are. And if they do not know who they are, they can simply tell them. That's just like why I keep using the example of that white couple I saw on Instagram a couple years ago for Halloween, where they were dressed up as Jay-Z and Beyonce. They didn't throw on blackface, but we knew who they were. I even saw a picture of a little boy who dressed up in a suit and glasses, and people didn't know who he was going as, and he said he was going as Malcolm X. but the little boy didn't throw on blackface either. So that whole blackface thing, that's a whole nother discussion that we've already had plenty of times, but y'all see where I'm going with that. The student complained to several teachers after the incident, one of whom, who asked to remain anonymous, said the teen was in tears by the time he finished telling what happened. The student also alerted his mother, who demanded the district take action and stop sweeping racism under the rug. On Tuesday, Lice addressed the controversy in a video announcement, apologizing for the distraction. He said, "Distraction. His actions have caused to the learning environment. I will continue to be an advocate for those that need me," he began. "There are a lot of things to learn from, to grow from, and that includes me and everybody that we can do to discourage racism, to discourage and denounce wrongdoing." He added, "I wanted you to know how much I care about the kids in this school and the people in this community, and it'll always continue to be that way." I wonder, what kind of language does he use in his home? Like, what does he say in his home when nobody else is around except for him and his family? In regard to the incident, Ackerman told the Inquirer that he and Lice met with the unnamed teen and his mother earlier this month and that the matter was handled. I wonder what they offered them. He added that no investigation other than his own was conducted in the incident or the staff meeting because he had all of the facts. Okay, so that's the typical thing. He investigated himself because he had all of the facts. That's okay. Well, it's pretty clear cut and dry. The guy is definitely a racist. He investigated himself. Why does that sound like some Blue Lives Matter shit? We did this ourselves. We're going to investigate ourselves, and we're going to clear ourselves of all wrongdoing. No wonder he's getting away with it, because no one's doing a thorough, no one's bringing up anything tangible to stick to him. Although all the evidence is presented. Now, let this have been a black person or a black principal do the complete opposite and say some disparaging things about white people. We all know how that would go. But y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.